Taoiseach has also been paying his own tribute today.
He has, Caroline, and it is somewhat ironic that we are discussing some of the political tributes being paid to Vicky Phelan just after the words from 2020 that you've heard Zara recite there just a moment ago, where she said it wasn't tributes that she wanted, it was accountability and change. Michael D Higgins has said in his statement this lunchtime that Vicky Phelan did achieve some change in her life, that she said in all of this that she made an enormous contribution to Irish society. He says that thanks to her tireless efforts, despite the terrible personal toll that she herself had to carry, so many women's lives had been protected and would be protected in the future. And the tribute today for Micheál Martin has concerned not only the achievements that she made in public life, but also her tenacity in pursuing her campaign, particularly when, as we've seen just a few moments ago, on the steps of the High Court, she had originally been asked to sign a non-disclosure agreement, and otherwise none of this perhaps would ever have made it to the public arena.
People will always remember that statement on the steps of the High Court, where she refused to sign any confidentiality agreement and wanted full public disclosure in respect of the issues pertaining to cervical check. And in doing so, emerged as a very strong advocate for women across this country, indeed women globally. And her contribution to public life in Ireland as a result of her basic adherence to those principles has been enormous and has been immense.
Now, if you go back again to the words of Vicky Phelan that Zara recited just a moment ago, looking for change and accountability, one thing that Vicky Phelan did really want was for nobody else to have to follow in her footsteps, to have to go to the High Court and receive compensation through those means for something which was no fault of their own. That was not the case or the experience for the likes of Emma Vicky Phelan and Ruth Morrissey, and it remains the case for many survivors of cervical cancer. In fact, of the 221 cases at least of people who were affected by the possible misreading of their slides, only 25 cases were brought to the Cervical Check Tribunal before the application for cases closed in July of this year. I put it to the Taoiseach this morning when I was speaking to him that the government had perhaps fallen short of its obligations and its commitments to bring forward a non-adversarial alternative to the High Court. He insisted, however, that although others would disagree, that the government had brought forward a non-adversarial means through which people could pursue cases of Vicky's style. It must also be recognised this lunchtime, finally, Caroline, that although all the controversy that engulfed this building and many others 3 or 4 years ago about the handling of her case, that there still remains no legal compulsion for what is called open disclosure, the idea of duty of candour, that somebody has to be told about errors or failings in their medical care. It is something which has been promised by successive governments. It was in committee stage in the Dáil Health Committee in March of this year, but it is not yet on the books.
Okay, Gavin Riley, thank you very much for that.